Hey everyone, welcome back to Breakthrough Innovation, where we uncover what it really takes to lead change, create value, and build what's next. I'm JL Heather, here with me, my co host Preston Chandler. Together we lead Centered, a firm that helps organizations navigate complexity, spark creativity, and unlock the full potential of their teams through innovation coaching and strategy. Today's guest is Téa Phillips, a mechanical engineer turned healthcare innovator and the founder of ATS Innovations. Téa invented the Metaflex Glove, a breakthrough wearable designed to restore strength, reduce pain, and improve hand mobility for people living with arthritis. And probably one of the cooler product names we've had on the show. Inspired by her grandmother and fueled by her belief that healthcare should be accessible and affordable, Téa's journey from small town Tennessee to FDA registered inventor and entrepreneur is both courageous and inspiring. Téa, welcome to Breakthrough Innovation.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome.
We are excited for you as well.
Yeah, I love the product. I love the idea. I'm a big fan of healthcare being affordable for everyone. So I think there's a lot to dig into. But I think maybe the best place to start, as we were talking about before we hit record, you said your grandmother was the spark behind your innovation. What did you
Yeah,
learn
yes.
from her struggle, and how did that shape your design priorities?
So we invented Metaflex, or the concept at least, and wanted to find a way for people to manage arthritis at home. So compression and grip strengthening were two of the main things that we found. One thing that surprised me when I was interviewing her was how much arthritis was affecting her sleep. And so if you have really progressed arthritis, you may notice your hands curling up into a ball when you sleep, and when you wake up, it's stiff and it's in a ball and it's difficult to open. So imagine waking up every morning and your hand is like that, it's painful. So what she would do to solve this problem is she would hold a tennis ball and put a sock over her hand so the tennis ball wouldn't fall out. So she'd sleep like that. So when she woke up in the morning, she would have a more open hand. And so what really surprised me was learning that. And so Metaflex is used by probably half of our customers just to keep their fingers extended at night. We also take it a step
Interesting.
further by providing that really gentle compression so that you have good circulation, you're not waking up with stiffness or anything like that. So the sleeping in it has really been what surprised me in our initial developments of Metaflex.
That's something that we often see when we talk to some of these founders and inventors. It's when they've actually listened to their customers. To your point, you went and talked with your grandma and you found things out that she needed that you wouldn't have found out in like a market research study.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking to the customer is one of the most important things that you can do. It is the most important thing that you can do because if your customer doesn't have the problem that you assume they have, then you don't have a customer. And if the customer doesn't like the solution that you've made, then you don't have a customer. So a lot of research went into and love went into making this the perfect product. And I mean, I say perfect, but like it solves problems and I'm continuing to innovate. I have new versions. I have like even a version 2 that's coming out that's just addressing some of the other problems that people are having in ways that we can make improvements. But all soft materials is really big, not only for nighttime use, but daytime use too, to make it washable, to make it
Mm.
cheaper and easier to afford. So I did a lot of tweaking and making this as good as I could make it before launching. But still, I went to market as fast as I could because I knew how many people that it could help.
Now, real quick, did you talk to your grandmother before or after you had a concept of what you wanted to build?
Knew that it was gonna be I thought that it was gonna be a glove. So you make a concept and then you start to test the idea, and you test the idea without telling them about the concept.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
Correct.
Well, and what I
That's
was
how you
wondering is
do
like,
it.
yeah, so many people go into those conversations with the solution in mind, and it shapes the whole narrative. And it
And you can
means you
have the
get some
solution
long
in
information.
mind,
Yeah,
but you can't tell them what you think the
absolutely.
solution is. You ask them what their problems are and how have you
Yes.
solved it before, and that's what helps you build the solution.
No, I love it. I think that's absolutely perfect. And I love that you're talking about how fast you were moving because if I remember right, this, and you maybe said this earlier, like this started in a pitch competition in college
Yeah.
and you went to full FDA registration from there. So, like, help me figure out, like, what are the steps? Like, how did you figure that out? Because I'm pretty sure there's no playbook.
There's no playbook, and I didn't move as fast as I wanted to because I developed this in college. I graduated the exact same year that I, filed for the patent and established the company and started earning money. And I didn't have that much money because I had just gone through engineering school and I had a really great job offers. So I worked as an engineer for about 3 years in Oak Ridge with this on the back burner. And then my grandma started to get worse and I started feeling guilty for not having, really brought this to life into helping her. So I got back into it. So it took me longer than it should have. But it's all part of the process is learning. But yeah, so I did a lot of research constantly. I'm constantly doing research and then implementing what I learned. So it took me months to get through the FDA registration process, not only because I couldn't afford to hire a consultant. When I decided to go full time with this, I had saved as much money as I could. I liquidated all my retirement, every GameStop stock that I had purchased. I pulled it all out, my 4K, my Roth IRA, everything that I had, but I still didn't have that much. So I did my own research, didn't hire a consultant, got it through the FDA process, and then I started, getting loans and all of that stuff, which it's so expensive. I think the reason that we don't have more healthcare innovation is because the FDA, just registering with the FDA as a medical device establishment this year is over $9,000.
Oh,
And the year
wow. Good
before it
deal.
was like 7,000. So it's going up by at least a grand every single year that we've been registered with the FDA. And I think that's gross.
That's unsustainable, it seems like to me. You did the research for the FDA. What were some of the other hurdles you felt like you had to jump to get here?
Once I was registered with the FDA, I mean, I had to find manufacturing that was registered with the FDA. Our tolerances are really, really tight. It's a very high quality product, Metaflex is. And so when I quit my job, I had a manufacturer lined up. But when I was researching, I found that they weren't the person that I needed. Needed like $13,000 in investment to get all of the things that they needed with the FDA, not just the things I needed, but the things that they needed. So I spent a year. I thought we were gonna be on market in 2022, and we weren't on market till 2023 because I had to find new manufacturing, qualify that manufacturing, get samples, change samples, build this relationship, and build the product with a whole new vendor, which took a really long time. And some of that time was because I didn't have the funds to like move to the next step. Like I get to the next step and I'm like, okay, now I need to buy this, but I can't afford to buy this. So now I have to go convince some people to give me money and nobody wants to give me money. So it was a really, really long process, start to finish, getting patents. I had to raise money to get patents. Yeah, I had to raise money to start attending trade shows. I had to raise money to spend money on ads. I had to raise money for inventory. It's been like over and over and over, stop and go, stop and go. Like I've had this whole plan. I know where we need to go. I've mapped it out, and I map it out not to be rigid, but to just say, here are the things that we need to do, and we'll figure out how to do them along the way. Because you're never 100% ready. Like doing the thing is what makes you ready to do the thing. So it's money, freaking money, stop and go constantly.
Yeah. Well, I love the idea that doing the thing is what makes you ready.
Yeah.
I think that's true in almost every aspect of life. So I love that you mentioned it here. And what I'm hearing, like this is hard. Like, is your
Yeah.
motivation just your grandmother, or what's the whole? What made this fight worth it?
Well, my grandma passed before I even got it to market, so
I
she
hear
passed
that.
in 2022 in February. But I just knew that this would impact people's lives, and I am frustrated with the American healthcare system, and how expensive it is. I mean, one of the reasons we made this is because people couldn't afford to go see a doctor to manage their arthritis with like a professional. So we made a way for them to use it at home because there's time that you have to take off work to go and see this person. And then there's the copay, and then there's the bill that comes after the copay because they said your insurance actually didn't cover this. And it's so expensive, and I knew I had something that was going to help people. And I knew that, I mean, once you get an idea, you either do something about it or somebody else is going to have that idea and they're going to do something about it.
Right.
And I didn't believe in whoever had the idea after me making this affordable. So I felt a heavy responsibility. And yeah, again, I wish I would have moved faster on it.
Yeah. I think that's what we hear a lot is it's never, I'm glad I waited. That
No.
never seems to be the message.
Yeah.
It's never, I'm glad I didn't take the risk. It's almost always, I'm glad I leapt and then looked. I'm glad I moved when I moved.
Yeah.
It is tough. And I'm sure you, like most of the founders that we've talked to, has had your fights with like imposter syndrome. You've been in the rooms where you're probably the youngest person there, or maybe the only woman, or that person without the experience. How are you handling that side of things?
It's a mental game. You get in those rooms and you're treated like you're not up to snuff. And I had a lot of experience with that because I went through engineering school. So right out of college, I studied mechanical engineering and I was very often one of the very few women in the room. And but I've always done what I've set out to do and I believe in myself. And so even when I'm in rooms full of men and none of them want to bet on my company and they're all like, we don't believe your projections, this isn't going to work, and asking me how I'm going to manage all the ways that it's going to fail when I'm in the same room with men who are pitching and they're asking them about opportunity and like, oh my gosh, but what if you do if it grows so fast? But me, they're like, what if this doesn't work, and what if this doesn't work? And I always had the answers. I'm like, well, we'll figure it out. We'll pivot. Like, we have this backup plan and this backup plan. But it does feel bad sometimes to fail a lot, but failing is part of the learning process. And I believe in myself. I think that Steve Jobs took an idea and turned it into a very successful company. And I think Jeff Bezos, which is not one of my idols, he does not treat his employees right. We're not, we're just saying like these men built
Examples.
big companies and they are of the same species that I am. So if they can
Absolutely.
do it, then why can't I do it? Like I'm built of tougher stuff, I think.
I'm glad to hear it. I think what you're doing is fantastic. And I think the struggle is something a lot of people face.
Not to just interrupt you right there, but
No,
I
no, go
just
for
read
it.
a book and it was so good. And it was How to Make a Few Billion Dollars by a guy named Brad Jacobs. Because I just need a few.
Yeah, just a
And
few.
what he said is you have to have the audacity to not only set these big goals, but to take the steps, like the actual steps, like go and actually do it. It takes audacity and believing in yourself in a way that a lot of people don't believe in themselves. But it's all just mental training. It's all just deprogramming what's been told to you and saying, I can do this. I believe in myself.
Yeah. It's not just the technical side, it's the mental side. Preston, what's that book
Yeah.
about tennis?
The inner game of tennis.
Yeah, that's what it makes me think of. It's a short little book, The Inner Game of Tennis, but it's that whole idea that no matter how firm a grasp you have on the mechanical side, the mental side is probably 10 times more important.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a mental game. Starting a company, building something new is insanely difficult. And like you said earlier, there's no playbook. Everyone is doing it differently. But the
Yeah,
similarities, the way that we're all doing it the same, is we're failing over and over and over again. And every single time we're getting back up. And you get back up and you don't do the same thing again. You change it a little bit. You make those pivots and you continue moving forward. Like the movie Meet the Robinsons. Have y'all seen that movie?
yeah,
I
And
love
he's
it.
like, keep moving forward. Like, failure is learning.
yeah.
And that movie has been so inspirational to me.
That
That's the one with the
reminds me.
T-Rex, big head, little arms.
Yeah,
Yes, that's the one. Listeners, go watch it. Meet the Robinsons.
Absolutely, absolutely.
that reminds me of one of my favorite quotes from George Bernard Shaw. And I won't quote the full thing, but basically he says, most people just adapt to fit the world. And the people who change the world are the ones who persist in forcing the world to adapt to them. And that's what you're describing is those people who persist in, I'm going to change the world, and believing, to your point, having that audacity that they could change the world. And that to me is so inspiring.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
Taya, you've come so far. You are available now, right? On the market, VA medical centers across the US, all of that. What are the things you're still trying to figure out, either in business or innovation?
Yeah, mainly I'm in the stage and I'm so grateful to be in the stage where I'm building a team. And so I'm trying to put the right people in the right places. And it's a different challenge than I've had before. I've led teams, but then you're working with people that already work there and you don't have to worry about like their salaries and you don't have to worry about their salaries as
Yeah.
tied to how well the business is doing.
Yep.
It's a unique challenge, and it's been really fun. I enjoy being a leader and setting the tone. I enjoy taking care of people and giving them a good work environment and flexible time off and paying them a good salary where they are gonna, stay loyal to the company and figuring out what incentivizes them and finding a way to be good to them. So it's been so wonderful. But I'm still like I have some holes. I have some places where we need to patch it up and I'm trying to put the right people in the right places so that I can change my role in ATS from working in the business and doing all the paperwork and leading operations to working on the business and taking like that ownership level where I'm setting the vision. I also want to really just set the vision and then do the innovation part, which is what I
Yeah.
really love. Recently, I got to travel to China to visit our manufacturer, and I got to see where they're sourcing my materials for all the little bits and pieces of the Metaflex.
That's
And I
awesome.
got to go to the factory and see how they're putting everything together, and that was really amazing. And I want to do more of that and build new products and continue to innovate, and then just set the vision for Metaflex,
I
move
love
it
it.
forward.
It's great.
I think a lot of founders struggle to make that transition for a variety of reasons. So that's fantastic. All right. So now, what advice would you be giving to other young founders who are trying to build something meaningful but feel stuck, under resourced, but for whatever reason struggling to move forward?
Yeah, I've been stuck and I've been under-resourced time and time again. And I think it's always going to be a part of the process. I think it ebbs and flows and that's how life is. And I would say just keep moving forward, just keep pushing. Take time for yourself so you don't get burnt out. Go for me, I like to go I call it hiking, but I'm not camping. I'm not spending a lot of I'm going and I'm sitting by a waterfall and I'm touching the trees and closing my eyes and I'm laying out in the sun on a rock and trying to disconnect and like mentally refresh because this is an exhausting job. And I love problem solving, and it's still a difficult thing to do day in and day out, especially when the problems that I'm solving aren't interesting problems to me. It's just like, how do I do this differently? And like advertising and marketing and sales. And I'm like, I'm not even interested in this, but I have to be good at it. So make sure you take time for yourself. Understand that failure is just learning. I mean, if Edison gave up, if after he had failed like 100 some odd times, then we wouldn't have the light bulb when we did. So failure is part of the process. Read a lot and take time for yourself.
Love it. So now,
Great.
before we wrap up, what's the best way for people to get into contact with you if they're interested in the Metaflex or if they want to collaborate? How should they reach out?
Yeah, thank you. So if you're interested in Metaflex or collaborating with Metaflex at all, go to my website, metaflexglove.com, Metaflex glove.com. There's a contact us form. You can purchase Metaflex gloves. I think right now, if you sign up for our email list, you get like a little discount code in your email. Alternatively, you can follow me and like Metaflex's progress on LinkedIn. My name's Téa Phillips, TEA Phillips on LinkedIn, and the company is ATS Innovations on LinkedIn.
Time. Thank you so much for the time and the conversation. I've enjoyed this immensely.
Ditto.
I'm really grateful to have had a chance to hear about your product and what you're doing and your perspective. I think it's really refreshing and heartwarming in a lot of ways. So I really appreciate it. For everyone else who made it all the way to the end, I would love it if you take a moment and one, if you know anyone who suffers from arthritis or who could benefit from a Metaflex glove, send this episode to them, share Téa Phillips with them and the Metaflex glove with them, and let's see if we can spread the love a little bit. Once you're done doing that, we'd love to hear from you in the comments about what are your experiences with innovating around things that matter. Not that it doesn't all matter, but things that matter like this, things that matter to you. We'd love to hear about those stories. And then when you're done with that, leave us a quick 5-star review. We greatly appreciate it. That said, Téa, thank you one more time. Everyone else, thank you as well. And we'll see you all next time on Breakthrough Innovation.
Thanks, Téa.
Thanks. Bye.